So what's up guys, Paul Salmon here. A straight line may be the shortest distance between 2 points, but it may not be the route that you want to fly. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. It's coming up.
Okay. Could I scoot around?
Yep, nope, looking fine. That's right here.
Okay guys, let's talk about some cross-country activity here. So when you're flying cross-country, sometimes a straight line looks very, very appealing. However, sometimes you can only deviate 5 or 10 degrees to the right or to the left, may only add about 5 or 10% to the length of the trip, and you can increase your safety margin significantly. And it's never more true in mountainous terrain or in heavily wooded areas. So if you're going someplace you've never gone before, these days we have so much information available to us, it's just crazy. When I was growing up as a kid, we had almost nothing available to us. You had a sectional map, and even back then the sectionals weren't all that great. I mean, they have all the detail that you have now. But we have a little thing called Google Earth, which is available to us now. And if you're going someplace that you've never gone before, you can quickly pull up your point of departure and look at the course in a straight line to your point of your destination point, and take a look and see what's there. Sometimes you can deviate again just a slight bit to the left or to the right and give yourself a ton of outs in case you have an engine failure, a forced landing, for whatever reason. You can significantly reduce the risk to the cross-country flight. So November 15188 was a 172 that had 4 adults in it. And they departed here at Fremont County Airport, and unfortunately their trek was going to lead them up here to APA, which is Centennial Airport, located right here. Unfortunately, they tried to go in a straight line course from here at Fremont to APA. And unfortunately, that takes you through some quite mountainous and very high terrain here. You see it's 11,400 here. Here's 12,300. Pikes Peak is over here at 14,000. And so that's going to bring them right just to the east of Pikes Peak, heading up to APA through some quite mountainous and very high elevation terrain. If we were to back up here and look again, you'll see that when they took off, if they were to leave out of Fremont County here and just go due east for a matter of about 10 or 12 miles here due east, once they got out in this area through here, then they could turn north and basically go due north. Even if they didn't want to transition through the surface area here at Colorado Springs, they could have just slid under the surface area here. Under the shelf area out to the east, and then continued on to APA. And you'll notice that about the highest ground elevation they've got to contend with is just somewhat under 8,000 feet. You'll notice the elevation at Centennial is about 5,800. That's not terribly unlike the elevation from the airport there at Fremont that they took off from was about 5,400 feet. So by simply deviating to the east about 12 miles and then turning north, they could have been over relatively low terrain. The highest they would have had to contend with, again, being about 8,000 feet, and not much of a challenge there. So Dan Greider did a little description of this accident, and so I think what we'll do, I'm going to refer to Dan here. We're going to look at an excerpt from a video that he just did.
188, this is the 172. It's called a T-41B, which doesn't really matter. It's a Cessna 172. These guys flew themselves into a box canyon in Colorado. 4 heavy adults in a heavy airplane, very high field elevation. Here's a graphic. Here's a Google Earth picture of where the airplane hit. And here's a Google Earth video of the box canyon. They tried to turn this airplane around. You notice they hit on the left side of this terrain here. They tried to get this airplane turned around and they stalled it. Everybody dead. A horrible crash out there. Don't take your little 180 horse Cessna Skyhawks out into terrain with 4 people in density altitude like this is crazy. It's just crazy. Don't fly within a few hundred feet of the earth. Here's their flight track as they made their way across the ground here. They ended up in rising terrain and they could not fly out of the rising terrain. They were forced to attempt to turn around and it did not work. A horrible way to go. Don't mess around with mountain flying out there in little underpowered airplanes that are at or near gross weight. It's a horrible idea. These 4 were stellar individuals of that community in Colorado, all very well loved and respected. A huge loss to that community in Colorado. We're very sorry. We hope that you will see this video and understand from their lesson exactly what not to do with your little airplanes in terrain. You cannot do this because it will not work.
Okay guys, so by looking at Google Earth and taking a look at the terrain that you're going to be crossing on a cross country, sometimes a small deviation of just a matter of 5 or 10 miles to the left or to the right, of course, can put you over much more favorable terrain where you can really mitigate a lot of the risks involved. So we do this all the time. You can pull up Google Earth and take a look and really reduce the risks of that cross-country trek, especially through mountainous terrain or unfavorable terrain that's heavily wooded. So, well, I hope you found this interesting and helpful, and please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next video.